Welcome back to Proud Masculine. I'm Joe, and today's video is about why to trust no contact. Before I get started, look down, hit that like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And feel free to leave a comment about this video or anything more you want to hear about, no contact, anything related to that. Among other things, but we'll get into that another time. So today's video, why to trust no contact. And this is something that I've just recently dealt with a client, and it's an ongoing process. And of course, there's a lot of questions. So why trust no contact? For people who are not familiar with this, no contact as a means to get your ex back is, and I'm going to elaborate more, but it's a mature, respectful way to move on, and I believe is to implement the best, for lack of a better word, strategy you could implement to get somebody back into your life. But it's a multi-tiered benefit for both parties in going into it, and here's why. So no contact is a lot of, it's kind of self-explanatory on the surface. No contact. You do not contact this person. Once the dumper, the person initiating the breakup, makes that declaration and that decision, they have unilaterally decided to change the terms of your relationship, which is usually a byproduct of simply being more negative than positive when it comes to your relationship. And most oftentimes, if you're completely honest, it's behavior, your presence, or the way you're showing up in that relationship. So, implementing no contact, when the dumper initiates, the dumpee, which I've been, and the clients I deal with typically are the dumpies. I have coach dumpers, because there's a dynamic too with no contact with the dumper. But this is directly pertaining to the dumpies, so we're going to keep the focus there. Is once they've made that decision and the breakup has been done, as the dumpee, you do not initiate contact with the dumper for any reason. Now, in the beginning stages, that's proven to be extremely difficult. Extremely difficult. As we know, there's a cliche, rejection breeds obsession. And you begin to obsessively think about how to get this person back, constantly wanting to be on their mind, constantly wanting to keep yourself in their presence so they don't forget about you, the begging, the pleading, all the promises made to change and make things better and make things right. And in the initial steps of being rejected, that is the impulse reaction. The need to have to fix. Let me fix, let me fix, let me fix, let me make it up. I'll change. All these desperate attempts at reaching out, coming up with reasons to be in their presence. So that's the lead here. No contact. Do not contact this person. The decision from the time the decision was made to the time the actual breakup takes place, there has been some time. That breakup was already done some time before that. Sometimes it's a few weeks, sometimes it's a few months, sometimes it's a few days. When they come to this realization that the breakup needs to happen, that this relationship no longer suits them or serves them in a way that it had before. And look, this thing can go off in so many different directions, but this is just a basic video about why to trust it. So, we'll get more in depth and, other things related that fall in between the reasons why and all this. So we'll stick to this for now. And that person and it's a difficult decision. It's not an easy decision for this person. And I know at first they come off as cold, callous, distant, somebody you don't recognize. They're absolutely dismissive of you and your feelings and your position, which is more oftentimes than not, please don't do this. Take me back. What do I have to do? I'll change. I'll do anything you want. This kind of stuff. They're not hearing that. And the reality of it is, leading up to this breakup, this dumper has had to make a hard decision. And the anxiety has been building up. And if you pay close attention and you're really honest with yourself, you can see the signs leading up to it. Them becoming more distant, withdrawing a little bit, something's off. And a lot of times as the dumpy, you could just be in a bad place, or you notice a thing's going wrong, you just go into a little bit of a denial. Like, it'll fix itself, it'll correct. And you don't want to overdo it and push the person by asking what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong. Inevitably the day comes. The breakup is final. And a lot of times people are going to see these types of videos after the fact. I don't think anybody proactively takes measures to see what to do if they ever broken up with. It's usually after you're broken up with, you jump on YouTube and start looking for ways to get your ex back, and you come across no contact. By then, you've probably done some begging and pleading, some desperate attempts. And that's okay. That's perfectly normal. It's very unattractive and unappealing, but the dumper understands at first that's just part of the process. They know that. And having been on both ends, the dumper and the dumpee, I wasn't surprised after some time goes by, I didn't think any less of the person for making the attempt. And the same goes for you. But if you're catching this video now, stop. Cease contact, which means no texting, no calling, no accidentally bumping into them, no showing up at a place they're going to be. Nothing, no excuse, no birthday, no Merry Christmas, no Happy Kwanzaa, nothing. There's no reason for you to contact this person ever again. And this is not a manipulation tactic. This is giving the dumper what they want. And quite honestly, what they need at this time to process. Because they're processing shit too. You better believe it. It's not So the position of a dumpy and a dumper, you're going to be down here, they're going to be up here. And the way they're processing this in the beginning is the relief phase, the relief stages, where they're just happy to have this high anxiety, period of time that they've been thinking about this, that I got to end this, how do I end this? They really don't want to hurt you. Now look, there are exceptions where if there was cheating and abuse involved, that they may want to get back at you, come from a place of anger, dump your ass and make you feel like shit about it. More oftentimes than not, that's not the case. They're just making, in the moment, what seems to be a healthy life choice and protecting their well-being. And in a sense, in their mind, they're looking out for you as well. So, in the beginnings of no contact is granting them and respecting their wishes and giving them the breakup as gracefully as possible. And like I said, chances are you've seen this before the breakup, very slim. So there's probably already been a degree and a measure of begging and pleading to be taken back. But that's over and done with. There's nothing you can do about that now, but you can stop now. So what this does is it allows this person to go through the stages of a breakup, which is going to be initially relief. They're relieved to have gotten this breakup behind them. It's a very liberating and a freeing feeling to have to get to go be single, explore, catch up with friends, do all the things that may have been inhibited while they were with somebody, because in a relationship there is compromise, and There's things that you have to take time out of doing, or less time, and it's liberating. You have your freedom, you have your space, you have this room to breathe, and now you have all this extra time, and then all of a sudden the single friends and the nightlife and the party crowd, all this shit seems like fun, and they want to go experience that, and it's necessary that they do. And that gives them time to see that and feel that and experience that. That's not where you're going to be. It's just not. And in the beginning, it's going to suck. And I'd say for the first 2 weeks, allow yourself to just be the depressed, miserable, sad. You're going to go through these. In the very beginnings, it's miserable. It sucks. It hurts. You're sad. You're depressed. The obsessive thinking on what they're doing, who they're with. They already met somebody. Are they going off to get married? Are they going to have a better life? Did they forget about you? Did they think about me? And if you're watching this video, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And just allow yourself to go through that shit. It's going to be pretty dark, to be honest with you, for the first couple weeks at least. And I say there's a certain window of time, 2 weeks, just allow yourself to be there. It's going to suck. You're probably going to be doing some destructive shit. And look, I'm not an advocate for, drinking and going out and doing destructive things and self-destructive behavior. But it hurts, and you're going to be in a lot of pain, and you may resort to some drinking and self-destructive behavior. I highly advise against it. But some people who don't drink and whatnot, and just avoid that. But I understand. And you have to allow yourself some time to accept, to grieve, to go through the hurt and the pain. But after a certain point, you have to participate in your recovery. And this is why trusting no contact is key. Because through this time of you hurting, from day one, it's going to suck, and they're feeling great. Over time, there's a slow shift, very slow shift, that takes place, where that relief period wears off, and then your pain begins to subside slowly. And at the rate your pain subsides, and the confusion, the obsession, and these destructive thoughts, your self-esteem is going to be in a shitter. That stuff begins, but the rate that gets better and you begin to improve is directly proportionate to the work you're putting in. So there's a small window of time where you allow yourself to sulk, feel sorry for yourself, experience the pain, do all the crying and the sobbing you have to behind closed doors, wear people's ears out, all your friends' ears, until they get tired of hearing your shit, because they will. But at some point, you got to get into action. And this is part of the benefit of a no contact, is you have all the time and room in the world you need to do that work. Because there are some things you've done to contribute to that breakup. And these are the things that you need to take a hard, honest look at. And in the meantime, that relief phase is going to begin to dwindle as well. Because they're going to start to see, you got to figure any substantial amount of time from, I'd say 6 months, is you really have time to form a bond with this person, and you're integrated into their everyday life. Obviously, the more time you spend together, the longer you've been together. You could have lived together, but you've gone to sleep together, waking up next to each other, had dinner together, events, holidays, all these things. And So when these people are in this relief phase, it's euphoric, and they don't really think about all it. Now they're just thinking about this new experience, the new people hanging out and having fun and spreading their wings, whatever that looks like. And that begins to wear. Then they start noticing you're not there. And they roll over in bed, and, the friends, they get busy. They meet people. They're not as available. And there's only so much you can keep doing on your own to keep you busy enough to distract you from the noticing the loss of that person. And that stuff is going to start subsiding, and they're going to start noticing you're not there. Night when they go to bed, you're not there to hug up against. In the morning, you're not there to wake up next to each other and have coffee together, or talking throughout the day. There's all these little things that we take for granted as a dumper and a dumpy. They're just people in general. We take these little things for granted. And they're going to start noticing that. Their phone's going off. It's not you. They passed a restaurant you used to go to a lot where you shared a favorite dish or whatnot. And so that's happening on the dumper's end. When you're in, ideally, you're going to be doing work. You're going to be putting yourself into more positive things and taking a long, honest, brutally honest look at what it is you need to shore up, whether it was you're a bad communicator, you had a short temper, you got needy, no ambition, no direction. You got fat and decided to play video games and smoke pot all day. Shit like that. Just unattractive behavior, and be able to shore these things up. I highly recommend the first thing you do is get in the gym. That's that in itself jumps you up into self-improvement almost immediately, because there's so many benefits that come from that. Not just a physical change, but what it does to you mentally and emotionally. It works full circle. So you're going to be doing these things, and so you may have to seek help. You may have a problem with neediness or a shitty communicator, and you're going to have to go seek outside help. Go see a therapist and start working on these things. And I highly advise you take this time to make a list of things that you personally find unattractive about yourself and what could have turned this person off. Because, I did talk about, the breakup being a result of more negative than positive. And within the scope of negative is you becoming unattractive and exhibiting unattractive behavior. Neediness, lack of ambition, indecisiveness, quick temper, getting angry, emotionally reactive is a word I like. And now is the time to do that work. So you're committed to constant self-improvement every day and shoring up these things you're lacking or limited in, to get back to that person you were when you first met, that person that she'd fallen in love with or he'd fallen in love with. Because that's only natural in a relationship. That happens over time. You begin to take one another for granted. One person usually more than the other. You get comfortable. You get lazy. It happens. And this is another thing you can look at while in no contact doing the work, as making it a habit to stay consistent. And so whatever that looks like, I say the gym, therapy, reading, meditating, finding, if you had hobbies before and you let it go because of this person, getting back into, finding a hobby. Find something that you do that you just enjoy doing, a creative outlet to make you a more interesting person again. And so this allows you time to improve, and it allows them time to gain some perspective on the breakup and see what life is like without you. So within this time apart, also what happens is they begin to come down off the high, you begin to come up off your low, and There's a phenomenon called the faded effect bias, where, simply put, the negative subsides and all the positive comes back to surface. And they need this time to realize that and experience that. And if you're constantly in their face and constantly texting them and trying to call them and showing up at their house, which please don't do that. Please don't stalk. That will get you in trouble. You will wind up in jail. And it's just creepy, obsessive, needy behavior, which got your ass broken up with in the first place. It's just on a whole nother level when they're telling you, leave me alone, and you're not. It's actually criminal behavior. So don't do that. And if you have to reach out to people to keep from doing that, hire a damn coach. Get a relationship coach. Like me, and there's plenty of people available out there. Just do your research. Be careful, because there are people out there just looking for your money. And they'll tell you whatever it is you need to hear. But get some outside perspective. Get somebody who can hold you accountable. Your friends are going to do it for a little while, and they're just going to get tired of your shit. It's just the way it is. Other people have their lives to live as well. But get someone in your life that will hold you accountable. Somebody that you can say, hey, I feel like texting this person. Hey, and because you can rationalize some good reasons. Well, I did forget to tell them this one thing, this one time. They know you want them back. Trust me. They know you don't want the breakup. But that's not where they're at. And the more you push, the further away they get. So find somebody that can put you in check and talk you down off that ledge. Because sitting by yourself long enough, and that pain and those feelings, you will rationalize a reason why you should reach out. You're going to do it and immediately regret it. Trust me. Take my word on that for sure. I've been there, done that. And this stuff I tell you is not theory. This is all stuff I've been through personally, from both ends. And back to the point, there's going to be a shift. And so what they're going to start realizing, and then look, this is if, like I said, there are circumstances where they're not going to be so quick to think of the good things. If some, cheating, serious betrayal, an extensively abusive, toxic relationship, they may not ever revisit it. But I guarantee you they still will think of the good times. Does that decrease the chances of ever hearing from them again? It absolutely does. And this is assuming just a regular relationship that maybe fell on hard times, or you've fallen on hard times and started displaying unattractive behavior over time and slowly grew apart and became unattractive and got dumped. And this person, over this period of time, is going to start to realize what life is like without you. And all the good stuff is going to come back to surface. How attentive you were, the kind things you used to say, the way you were thoughtful of them. Maybe when you came home from a hard day's work, you had their favorite bottle of wine, or you knew their favorite coffee, or just the little things that are now missing from their lives, because they're going to go out there and date, probably, at least go explore a little bit, sniff around, and see it's not what it's all cracked up to be. And they'll start realizing the value of having somebody in their lives that knows so much about them, that really cares, and all those little things that really add up to a meaningful relationship. So that's why it is so important during this period of no contact that you're doing the work. And nothing is 100% guaranteed that they will reach out. Sometimes they don't. My experience, more oftentimes than not, they do. They will revisit the idea of being with you. And when that time comes, you do not want to be the same person that they walked away from. Because it will end much quicker, and it'll be much more solidified to them and justified as to why they did break up. And that's the same thing if you keep on trying and reaching out, texting, calling, emailing and doing all this showing up at their work and shit, you're just going to reinforce why they did. So you want to be an improved version, and I hear this one thrown around a lot because it's easy and very relatable. It's like you 2.0, a better version of yourself. The version of yourself that you knew you had the potential to be anyway, but you got lazy and you let off. The you 2.0, the guy who can communicate, who can listen, who can take charge, make decisions. You know, I'm not going to get into all the details with this. This is just a broad overview. But be that guy. And having done that work, go get help for your temper and, you know, your lack of ability to communicate, whatever the shortcomings may be. That's for you to decide. But have that work done so when they do reach out, that you're ready to display that you're not that person that they broke up with. That you've heard what they said, you've recognized and are able to take accountability for your shortcomings, and you have the acuity to know where you fell short, and that you had what it takes to do the work and improve. And that in itself is going to go a long way. So when they do reach out, you are that different person. A person that they did fell in love with, and then some. So, and this is something, when you get to know somebody really well, and you have that bond, that emotional bond, they're going to be able to pick up on this stuff right away. So when they reach out, you better believe they're going to have you under a microscope, and they're going to be looking for these cues. Because now they're second guessing, they're doubting their decision of leaving you. And it has come back to surface that maybe he wasn't that bad. Maybe I overblew some shit. Maybe I was paying too much attention to the bad stuff, not the good. You know, that's just how it goes in their brain. They're recalculating. The doubt creeps in, so they want to give it another peek. But they're looking for all of the other shit that turned them off. So, it's really important that you have had this work done and put the time in to make the quality changes. Notice I said quality. Quality changes that are going to be substantial and last. So, and here's, when they do reach out, it's more than likely, it's very rare that they reach out along the lines of, I miss you, I'm thinking about you. They're certainly not going to tell you, hey, I'm reaching out to see if you've changed. Maybe give this another crack and see how it goes. It's not going to be like that. It's referred to as the indirect approach. It's typically going to be, hey, where's that place we ate? Or, you know, I saw something today that reminded me of you. Or, did I leave my toothpaste at your apartment? You know, some off-the-wall shit like that. It may even be a little confusing at first. But then, that's your opportunity. So when they reach out, and this is another thing about no contact. If they reach out to you, it doesn't mean you ignore them. The no contact applies to you. You're not reaching out to them. When they reach out, and this is the whole purpose of it, I don't know how this has to be explained, but when they reach out, that's your opportunity. That's them telling you, because they're nervous too. They don't know what you've done. They don't know what you're over there doing. They don't know if you've gotten over them. And they're taking a risk of being rejected as well. They don't want to be rejected any more than you did. So it's rarely going to be, I really miss you, I regret this decision, I want to try again. Have you done any work on yourself to get better? It's not going to be like that. It's going to be something very subtle. And being prepared, always assume when they reach out, that's them telling you, hey, I miss you. That's just a way to think of it. And it's important that you do not jump into thinking you're back in a relationship because they reached out to you. Because in some cases, it's just like them dipping their toe in the water. They just feeling the temperature. The next step is, putting their whole foot going knee deep, and from knee deep to waist deep, and it's going to be a very slow process. And if you are the one helping them into the pool and you just pull them in, they're going to feel overwhelmed like they're drowning, and boom, they're gone again. So when they do reach out and you have put the time in to do this work, and they've had the time to process this properly without you interrupting them, you now have the ability, and you have the ability to not only do your part and reigniting the spark and rebuilding that connection, they have the ability to receive it slowly, and that they've had the time to process it. Again, you do not want to overwhelm them with, oh, I missed you so much, it's so great to hear from you. Oh, I've been going through this and going, no, none of that. Matter of fact, you don't even mention the breakup. It's just a really simple, hey, how are you? Great to hear from you. Like you're good. You're in a good place. I keep hitting the damn camera. And you're in a good place. And that's what you want to convey. Lighthearted, confident. Like things are going great. And it's a vibe. It's an energy. And it's palpable. And they'll be able to sense that right away. Just like they'll be able to sense desperate and needy if you haven't done the work. If all you did was sit around and sulk and get fatter and lazier and feel more sorry for yourself, they're going to pick up on that immediately, and they're gone. So you just want to convey light, fun, high energy, productive, and you start the conversation there. And within that initial conversation is to set up a date, set up a meet in person. Something simple as, it's great talking to you. I'd love to see you when you're free next week. I'd love to see you. Let's get together. Let's catch up. Take the initiative. Because remember, they still don't know where you are. And they're risking being rejected. Say you did meet somebody. And, they're having second thoughts. They're doubting. They come back. And they come back with, I really miss you. I want to see you. I regret things. And you're like, yeah, well, I'm seeing somebody. Psh, see you. That sucks for them too. And so they're going to be very careful. And it's your job to initiate the meetup in person. And then from there, it's just going to be a slow reconnection process. And if they do, turn down the first meet, don't be discouraged. They still have cold feet. They're still unsure about things. You remember, this is just the beginnings of them, having this realization that life, in fact, is different without you. And sometimes it may take, here's the way I see it, 2 attempts at getting together. You ask, you initiate. If you deny both attempts, you don't ask again. By that point, just like they know you didn't want to break up in the beginning, they know you want to see them. Don't keep asking. It's a display of extremely low value behavior to keep asking and being rejected, and keep asking and being rejected. It's not a good look. And ultimately they lose respect and more attraction. So, if the first attempt at getting together is denied, which it may, say, well, look, it was great talking to you, and keep in touch. I'd love to hear from you soon. Leave the ball in their court. Or just leave it open so you can have an opportunity a couple of days, a week later, to reach out to them again if you don't hear from them. I prefer, you get in touch with me, because now you're in the position of making a decision yourself. Do you want to subject yourself to being hurt again? Is the reason they left you valid? Now with a clear head and having done the work, are you looking back and saying that you don't think it was fair what was done to you? From a very, very honest perspective, an honest lens, like, was their reaction unwarranted and they shouldn't have done it? And you may want to rethink shit now. And it is crucial, it is important, it is detrimental that they reach out to you first. And because remember, they're the one that ended it. They made the decision to end it. It must be their decision to revisit it. There's no other way. Now, I say there's no other way. Like, I'm using a lot of words that sound so final and concrete. There are exceptions down the line. Like, for instance, if it's months later and you're still hung up a little bit and you just kind of want to see and you have no expectation of an outcome and you want to reach out and take a shot, I say go for it. But, I mean, I shouldn't even say that because people's going to say, well, when and this and that. You know, that's not even something to be discussed right now. Also, within the description of no contact, and I hope I've made this clear, maybe I haven't, this is about you finding yourself and getting yourself back, no matter the outcome of them coming back or not. Now, it just so happens as a byproduct of you doing a mature thing, respecting the breakup, giving it to them, giving them their space, and doing the work on yourself, a byproduct is they usually come back. At least to take a peek and see. That's just the way it is. But I get the question a lot is like, when do they come back? How long does it last? When will I hear from them? And that's just, there's so many variables that go along with that. That's impossible to answer, but that's not where your thinking should be. The thinking should be, what am I going to do with this time apart? How am I going to improve? What am I going to do differently? How am I going to come out on the other end of this experience? Bigger, faster, stronger, or fatter, slower, weaker? That's it. So why trust no contact? Because it's a win-win. You win either way. You come out a better person with them, or you come out a better person without them. And there's no guarantee that they come back. There's just not. But my experience is, most oftentimes than not, you hear from this person again. And so that's just a broad overview, and I'd love to get more in depth. And look, I made this video all for whim. Obviously, I'm not, I have no script, I have no notes. This is just something I felt compelled to do and wanted to put out there, to help who I can. So you can reach me at proudmasculine.com and book a coaching session. And so you go to proudmasculine.com, go to coaching. You can select the 1 hour option, or you can DM me on Instagram. We can set it up that way. Book a session. Help me make a change. Help me help you make this change to help you change your life in terms of how you can improve yourself. And if it doesn't work out with this person in no contact and they don't come back, you'll be better prepared for the next opportunity. Because if you go through this no contact phase and they do come back and you've done no work, you're going to lose them. Then moving on, give them the next opportunity and you find somebody you really like, you're more than likely going to sabotage that as well, if no work has been done. So with that, remember, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for future videos as they come out.